The effect of strength training, endurance of athletes, runners.
Again, good afternoon, sir. Presenting to you our study, the effect of strength training and endurance of athletes runners. So, our rationale will be to determine the endurance performance of athletes and to know the behavior of athletes in terms of their strength training. And number three, to know the significance of strength and endurance of athletes. So, our published study, our study one is effect of running specific strength training, endurance training, and concurrent training on recreational endurance of athletes. And it was authored by Pablo Prieto and Gonzalez Jeromir. And it was taken in the Journal of International Journal of Environment Research and Public Health. And it was published in the year 2022 and August 29. So in our study too, the effect of strength training on performance indicators in distance runners. So it was authored by Chris and Brian, Carson and Ian Tikani, and it was taken in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning, and it was published in the September 23. And our study 3 is effect of concurrent strength and endurance training on distance running performance in well-trained athletes. And it was authored by Demopo Akalu and Wandem and Dakalem Mekapo Teketne. It was taken in the Journal of International Journal of Inter-Environmental Research and Public Health. And it was published in 2023 October.
So the result in study one, it says here that the one-way ANOVA revealed that there were no significant differences between the three experimental groups at baseline for any of the anthropometric and performance measures after the normality and homoscedasticity of the data were validated. So similarly, for all evaluated parameters, the three groups ICC values between the pre-test and the post-test were together than zero point 0.9, indicating outstanding reliability. And next, the two-way repeated measure ANOVA revealed that for BM and BMI, there was no main effect or there was no main impact of time, group, or interaction effect. So additionally, for CM and 1RM squat, RE12 and RE14 and VO2 max and ANT, a group by time interaction effect was found using the two-way repeated measure ANOVA. So time was found to have a major influence of the BFP, LM, CM1, 1RM squat, and RE12 and RE14. So in the next table, regarding the within subject comparisons, RSTTG considerably improved. So the significant differences or difference was seen in the CM1 and the P greater than 0.001, IC95 is equal to 3.42 and 4.13. And 1RM squat, P is greater than 0.001, RE12, P is greater than 0.001, 5.66 and 8.73. And the RE14, the P is equal to 0.007, F is 0.23 and 1.11. And the IC1 is equal to 5.66 and 8.73. So the result for RE12 and RE14, the extent of these improvements was minimal. So nevertheless, for CM and 1RM in the squat between the pre-test and the post-test, ETG considerably improved in the following areas parameters. So F is equal to 620.65 and 4,464.61. And in RE14, P is equal to 0.15. The VO2 max and RE12 is P is greater than 0.001 and IC95 is equal to 1.93 and 2.95. So ANT, P is greater than 0.001, C195 is equal to 262 and 738. And P greater than 0.001 and C195 is equal to 0.51 and 0.77. So the magnitude of this, the improvements were high for RE12 and ANT, medium for BO2 max, and minor for RE14. Furthermore, CTG's performance greatly improved between the pre-test and post-test in the following variables.
Ako na. So the statistical analysis in study one is the format of the data is standard deviation. So to use the contrast analysis of the variables, it was the Shapiro-Wilk test. And to verify the homogenities of variances, it was the Levene's test. So in vertical correlation coefficient, when we calculated it, the ICC greater than 0.49 is poor, and performance parameters, ICC 0.50 is greater than 0.75, it was moderate. And then in 0.75 greater than ICC 0.9 is good, and ICC less than 0.9 is excellent. So when we use the one-way ANOVA, the statistically significant p-values, the effect was calculated using homogenious p-values. Is greater than 0.2 and D is equals to 0.2, D is equal to 0.5, and D is equal to 0.8. We consider the trivial small and larger text sizes respectively. So the level of significance SW was significantly greater than 0.5. In conclusion, performing a 12-week concurrent training program integrated into the ATR periodization means the ATR is accumulation, classification, realization system effectively improves body composition and performance variables that can be obtained with exclusive planning specific strength and endurance training in recreational runners stage 30 to 40. Specific strength training enhances maximum and exclusive strength and RE, whereas exclusive endurance training improves VO2 max, ANT, and I. Performing concurrent training on non-consecutive days effectively prevents the strength and endurance adaptations attained with single exercise from being agitated. The ATR periodization system is useful in improving recreational endurance fitness performance parameters, especially when performing concurrent training. In conclusion, there is no significant because 12 weeks is not enough, but the ATR system effective to the RSSTG, ETG, and also the CT.
Study from the start of the study indicate that there is a significant between intervention and in concerning the strength, physiological, and body composition variables. As you can see in the table, there is no significant differences kasi walang effect yung strength measures para sa intervention and control groups. Kumbaga, no relationship yung dalawang nasa 0.0. So, means yung strength which is your dependent variable. And yung intervention and control groups is independent variable. So, yung effect niya is statistically equal to 0. So, wala silang relationship. Next. Independent variables were defined in terms of the different interventions, time versus control, and the three measurement points, pre-test versus mid-test and post-test. The dependent variables were strength, maximum strength, 1 RM back squats, low SSE, reactive strength, CMG, fast SSC, reactive strength, 0.3 M ground drop, physiology, 2 and 4 M, 4, 4. VO2 max, VO2 max and economy and body composition, body mass, body fat, overall lean and leg lean. All data sets are presented as means 6 SD or percentage change. To test for differences between groups at week 0, an independent t-test was used for each group, variables, physiology, strength, and body composition. At week 0, week 20, and and week 40 were compared using a repeated measures analysis of variable ANOVA. To test for differences between groups, two repeated measures ANOVA was used. Homogeneity of variance was evaluated using Moschni test of sphericity, and when violated, the greenhouse Geyser adjustment was used. To determine the magnitude of within group change in variables, a Cohen's DES was performed. The criteria to interpret the magnitude of the ES were 0.0 to 0.2 trivial, 0.2 to 0.64, 0.6 to 1.2 moderate, 1.2 to 2 large, and 0.2 very large. 16. The level of significance was set at P number 0.05 IBM SPSS Statistics 22 Software IBM Corporation, release 2013. IBM SSPS statistic for Windows versus 22.0 USA was used for all the statistical calculations. Reliability coefficient of the variance percent intra-class population coefficient. Values for back squat 1 RM, 0.3 M jump RSI. Submaximal and maximal VO2 2.4%, V4, and VO2 max are all within acceptable ranges. So in conclusion, compared to control condition, strength training with a higher plyometric training and a combination of strength training methods may improve running economy in middle and long distance runners. Other methods such as submaximal load training, isometric risk calculation, and flow. The data derived from the systematic review suggests that although both local training and plyometric training might be effective at lower speeds, and high load strength training might be particularly effective in improving running economy in athletes with a high VO2 max and high running speeds. So the systematic review suggests that strength training with high load plyometric training and a combination of strength training methods can improve running economy in middle and long distance runners. So in contrast, submaximal and submaximal load training and isometric strength training appear less effective in this population. The review also highlights that high load strength training might be particularly effective at higher speeds and in athletes with high VO2 max levels. So this information is significant for athletes looking to optimize their running performance and choose informed training strategies accordingly. Study 39 individuals completed the study without mentioning any harm they have occurred as a result of intervention training session. So, in summary, the Shapiro test, the previous test, ito yung test na ginamit for data quality. So, ang Shapiro test, check if the data is normally distributed, while in the previous test, check if the variance was similar. So, in one way, compared three groups, and this is ETG means endurance training group, STG means strength training group, and CTG means concurrent training group. So in table 3, 39 well-trained runners have 12 weeks of strength training group. The table 3 represents to evaluate the training effects on physical and performance characteristics between groups. The ETG, endurance training group, versus STG, strength training group, versus CTG, concurrent training group. On that sense, there were not significant difference before starting the training program because it's just like assessing athletes according to their height, age, weight, one repetition maximum squat, push up, VO2 max, and 5 kilometer time trial. The table 4 represents pre and post tests in all the variables assessed and for all the three experimental groups ETG, STG, and CTG. The statistically significant p-value were found, while the table 5 as for all three experimental groups, they computed post-test and pre-test for all parameters, each training to found the p-values in the following. When p-value found, they use Bonferroni variable correction to the following variables. So, as a result of the tables, after 12 weeks of training, STE and CTE groups had significant increases lower body and upper body strength in post-training groups. Based on the statistic applied, the result concurrent training distance runner performance, this concurrent training has its greatest gains muscle strength compared to STE and TTG. So conclusion. So, in conclusion of study 3, concurrent training program, it was implemented to improve distance running performance significantly. Similarities and difference. Next po. Next po, similarities and differences niyo po.
Yan ito.
Similarities and differences. The similarities of the study 1, 2, and 3 is about the strength training and endurance performance of how the athlete's runner deals with effectiveness of how athletes adapt the possible training and perform themselves to certain biomechanics. Therefore, the differences of study 1, 2, and 3, that study 1 focuses on the concurrent training of recreational endurance athlete, while study 2 deals with the performance indications in the distance runners. Further study 3 talks about the performance of the concurrent strength and endurance training in the well-trained athletes. So here, what can be improved in study 1 because that is essential for maximizing athletic performance and overall fitness. This is beneficial to increase muscle strength, explosive strength development, and improve running economy. Tapos na ba? So, in study 2, this studied approach aims to optimize running efficiency, aerobic capacity, and strength qualities specific to distance running, ultimately leading to improved athletic performance without unwanted changes in body variables. So in study 3, we also include that because that is essential for enhancing performance and achieving further progress. Need for improvement or recommendations for improvement. Under these two factors, there's a lot that is needed to do, just like incorporate additional activities, focus on strength training, implement periodization, individual training plans, and monitor progress and adjustments.
Okay, that ends our presentation for today. Thank you very much.
If you will be coming up with a new study based on the presentations, what would that be and why?
So the question goes this way. If you will be coming up with a new study based on the presentation, what would it be and why? So if I will to come up with a new study basing on the presentation, it would be optimizing strength training for running and cycling endurance performance, and which this study proposed will cover the performance of the cycling and running, wherein this optimizes how the strength training for running and cycling be effective in this study.
So if I'm going to coming up with a new study based on our presentation, it should be entitled The Impact of Plyometric Training on Running Economy and Performance in Endurance Runners. Because this study will aim to investigate the effect of plyometric training on running economy and performance in endurance runner. And also, this study aims to contribute valuable insight into the effects of plyometric training on the endurance runners, performance, running economy, and injury prevention.
So, if I will be coming up with a new study based on our presentation, it would be the effect of strength training of running economy in highly trained runners. Running economy improvements, a consequence of strength training interventions, have been attributed to improve lower limb coordination and muscle activation, which would ultimately increase muscle stiffness and decrease ground contact times. This increased strength may also improve biomechanical efficiency and muscle recruitment patterns, thus allowing a runner to run more efficiently at a given running speed.
So, if I would be coming up with a new study based on our presentation, it would be the concurrent strength and endurance training effects of running. So, the purpose of this study used to evaluate the effect of two different strength training protocols on RE running economy and strength parameters in a group of regularly training master marathon runners. Before and after the experimental period, resting metabolic rate, body composition, 1 repetition maximum, 1 RM squat, jump, counter movement, jump, and RE were evaluated.
A new study aimed to explore the long-term effect of combining strength and endurance training of the runner's athletic performance. This could compare the outcomes of runners incorporating a structured strength training program versus those focusing solely on endurance training. The finding could inform coaches and athletes about the benefit of strength training and offer practical guidance for improving running performance.
If I will be coming up with a new study based on our presentation, it would be effectiveness of plyometric training in the performance of athletes. Why? To know the significant difference between the pre-test and post-test intervention of the sprinters.
If I would come up with a new study based on our presentation, it would be comparative effects of plyometric versus traditional strength training on endurance, performance, and recovery in long-distance runner. Why I chose this study? Because this study can significantly contribute to the field of sports science by providing actionable data or enhancing long-distance running performance through tailored strength training regimens.
So, if I will be coming up with new study, this would be lower body determinants of running economy. I choose that as possible new study because running economy considered as the best physiological performance indicators to runners because it seems that no single lower body measure can completely explain differences in running economy. Running economy is therefore likely determined from the sum of influences from multiple lower body athletes.
If I will be coming up the new study based on our presentation, it will be the optimizing strength training for running and cycling endurance performance. Strength training can significantly improve running economy and endurance performance, with explosive and heavy strength training being the most effective. Additionally, periodized concurrent strength and endurance training has been shown to be the most effective approach. A new study could investigate the effects of different strength training types of cycling performance, comparing concurrent strength and endurance training to endurance training alone using periodization.
If I were to design a new study based on the presentation, it would be focused on the effects of periodized strength training program on endurance performance in recreational runners. The study would aim to investigate how different strength training methods such as high load, submaximal load, and plyometric exercises can be integrated into endurance training programs to minimize interference and maximize adaptations. By examining the effect of strength training on physiological performance in anthropometric variables, this study would provide valuable insights into the optimal application of strength training for the endurance athletes, ultimately enhancing their overall performance and reducing the risk of injury.